and I am a singer-songwriter based in Nashville, all the way from Australia. G'day mates, how you going? I'm sitting here. Oh, that's true, I can love you there. Oh.
I noticed that you talked about walking 6 miles from one of your shows. You had the guitar on your back. Can you just expand a little bit on that experience?
In 2015, I came on out for 3 months. I wanted to try Nashville on to see if I could imagine myself living here. So I saved for a year, and I came on out from Australia for 90 days. That was the only amount of time I was legally allowed in the country on that visa I was on. And I couldn't work, but I could write songs. So I by the last 3 weeks, I was so broke. I remember walking 6 miles. I used to walk from Music Row, which is behind me. We're a few blocks away. We're in Midtown at the moment. And I used to walk down West End Avenue 6 miles in the middle of summer in 100-degree heat. And my sandals would always, the glue would melt on my sandals. Just $2 tacos and toast for 3 weeks. But I remember thinking of it. I remember I struggled with depression for, back in 2012, I say I kicked depression's butt. And I remember there was a moment in my life where I had to decide if I was going to live or not, basically. And if I was going to live, I was going to do it to 100% with no regrets. And I remember walking that 6 miles, and after going through so much hurt and so much like disbelief, I had self-doubt, and then taking a chance on myself and walking that 6 miles in the hot sun, I remember never feeling more happy in my life. I had a couple of dollars left and didn't know how I was gonna get home or what I was gonna do, but I just knew that I had never been more happier in my life. And in that moment, and walking those miles, was when I knew I needed to be in Nashville.
Wow.
And rented a room off one of my friends, the one person I knew in Nashville. And I lived with them for 3 months, and I had 90 days that I was allowed in the country. And I wrote 70 songs in 90 days.
70?
70, yeah, 70. 70 songs in 90 days. I love writing songs. If I could write a song, I love to write truth. So something that I love to tell people stories, or tell my own story and try and like connect with people so they can go, wow, I know what that feels like, I've been there. That's my favorite thing. Writing songs and connecting with people is my #1 thing. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Violin. Happy birthday to you. Hip hip. Hooray! 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 But when it comes to listening to songs, you know, I grew up on some really great songwriters like Carole King, Joni Mitchell, James Taylor, Fleetwood Mac. They're the people that I grew up listening to. The bar's been pretty high when it comes to writing and music, so I would love to be able to write like that one day. And I think that you're never ever presented with something that you can't overcome. I really do believe that. I got to the point of losing my voice for 2 weeks of the month, and I remember I had maxed my credit card out and I had $100 left, and it was like at that point where my dream was over and I was going to have to go home and get surgery. I really needed surgery on my sinuses. And it's so funny, I went to the doctor and they said it was going to cost $1,000 to see an ear, nose, throat doctor, and I was broke because I was just trying to afford to live. And I Googled and I said a little prayer or something, I don't know. I tell you what, life just kind of happens amazingly. And I went and saw a doctor, and the doctor looked at me like a stray dog. I must look like a stray dog, I swear. And he said, look, I know your situation. I know I didn't have health insurance. I couldn't afford it. With being a foreigner, it's quite expensive. And he said to me, look, I don't do this very often, but I know that you really need help. And I want to give you the operation that you need.
Wow.
And then I remember a few weeks after that, I was just about to go into my operation, and the week before, at the Row where I'm playing tonight, actually was hosting a competition where we wrote a jingle. And this jingle, it was the Pringles jingle. we had to write a jingle for Pringles. And I didn't tell anyone about it, but I knew I could win $5.5 grand. And I come in because I thought, man, that will get me back to square one out of the money I've lost, and my visa is due for renewal and I have to pay a couple of $1,000s for that. And I stood up on this stage, and it must be something that Americans do. It must just be a culture thing. But I remember singing this jingle, and my friend, that she was recording a record, and the $5.5 grand would have gone a long way. And she looked at me, and she was looking at me like she wanted me to win it. And I'll never forget that look. Like, I remember standing there, and I just said in my mind, I don't deserve this money. I don't deserve it. Like, I need it, but I don't deserve it. She looked at me like she wanted me to win it, and I'm like, I know she could really use that, right? I don't know, it was just this thing. I thought, I've just been blessed with this operation that I really need. I'm being so lucky. I'll find a way. If I'm meant to have that money, I'll have it. I'll find another way to make that money. Anyway, so she won it, and I was so excited for her. The next week, I was playing the row, and someone was sitting in front of me and said, look, can I fly you out to San Francisco? We have a show that we'd love for you to play. Is $5,500 enough?
Wow.
So if there was ever a year where I was meant to go home, it was last year, and it was really tough. I went home for 2.5 months, and I was really afraid to come back. I had laryngitis for a month in February, and it's just from this sinus recovering from I ended up having 2 operations. But it's so funny. It's kind of like at the other end of it, and looking back, like I remember through depression, all I needed was the skills to learn how to not to get out of that headspace. It was within myself to get myself out of the headspace. I was the only one who could do it. But whereas this situation that I was in last year was like, I felt absolutely helpless. Like I was trying everything I could to try and get where I needed to go, and even just to pay rent, I was trying as hard as I could. So it's been a tough journey. I feel like I lost a year, honestly. But I do believe that we never get given something that a challenge that we can't overcome. And for some reason, I wrote this song last week actually called Songwriter. And the first lines are, maybe I should just give up, pack it up and move on home. And there's so many times where I feel like that, and it's really hard. But then the chorus is like, it's a tightrope. It's a long road of hard nose, high hopes and feeling uninspired. It's a tightrope of flat broke, then buying midtown shots when you're on fire. And it is like that. It's like there's so many magical things that happen that keep you going to the next moment and help you through those hard times. It's been an awesome journey, a freaking hard one, but it's awesome.
You have such a positive attitude. That's amazing that you've been through like those obstacles and challenges, and you still have that positive mindset.
I really think like it's all. I keep saying like I feel like there's a part of me it's like a calling. I always keep saying that, and I think everyone has that calling within them to do something, and I feel like this is the only thing I can do. I've never done anything else.
I can tell you're very passionate.
Yeah,
about
I'm
it.
very, thanks. And so I look at that, and I feel like I'm really meant to do this, and I kind of feel like this just adds to everything. It kind of gives me more depth to write about the thing.
Thank you for talking.
Thanks for listening to my music today.
Of course, yeah, it was great. Great show, great voice. You had a good stage presence and everything. You got the crowd involved, so yeah, everybody had a great time.
Thank you. It was good fun, and I feel like look, this is actually my 7th gig in 4 days, so I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to shower and feel normal.
Well, thanks again for talking.
Thank you so much. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. So as you can see, Katrina has such a positive outlook on life. She's been through so much adversity and keeps chasing her dream with persistence. It was very inspiring to hear her story. And I can tell you, hearing her sing live, she's very talented and has a fun, energetic personality. And I feel like she could go into any music environment and get the crowd into it, find some way to relate. There's some people that you see perform where you can just tell that they have that unique combination of talent, hard work, and overcoming adversity. And that's hard to find. I just enjoyed, watching the show and the interview with Katrina. So I'm trying to make it as well, but through a different path. I'm not trying to do it through being a musician. I'm trying to do it through YouTube or IGTV. And one of the reasons I wanted to start this show was because I know it can be a hard journey, and there are some inspiring stories from all the musicians out there, as we heard tonight with Katrina. So I'm just trying to kind of relate. Hey, if you like this video, please hit the like button, and it's free to subscribe to my page, Spectator Behavior.